Welcome back to the channel. So this is part 2 of the boom. In part 1, we basically built the entire boom. I mean, it went from no winches, no nothing, a tube to winches mounted, winch plate on, a full rise boom with a full head. It's like a fully built head. It's pretty much ready to go aside from chains. I got to mount chains on the top, which is the first thing we're going to get to. But I did a little something for you guys, and I'm only going to show it to you one time. This one video, you will see both Easter eggs. I'm going to put 2 Easter eggs in the truck, and I've already done one. And I'll show you that Easter egg right now. So as the boom comes up, the rollers will redirect the winch line out the tip. But I wanted to do something a little spicy because the bottom of this roller is like perfect. You can see it. It's like right there in the face of, well, if you're looking at it from the ground. So on this side, it says hi. Come on. If that's not like, that's awesome. I mean, you're just looking at, you're just sitting here, you're looking at this cool truck, like at a truck show, imagine, right? And you're just like, huh, the truck says hi. How could you not have a good day after that? For the first time ever in my life, I'm too short to get any weight into this. Never has that been a factor. So I don't have a long enough hole saw to go through both because it's a 4-inch, it's almost like 4.25, which is a lot. But I have a long drill bit, which is the exact size for centering. So obviously the hole on top, and then it just barely makes it through. Like, thank God. That's gonna be so unpleasant to cut though. This top hole is gonna suck, but the bottom hole is gonna really suck because everything that this bit is discarding is gonna land on my face. No fun. I'm also too short again. I have never in my life, ever been too short until today. But I don't have the weight to get in top, that I couldn't get on top of it to push down. Well, that's in there forever. There's a hole now. Oh, and I can't go through it. We gotta go through the bottom. This is gonna suck. I am preparing for war. I've done this before where I have to hole saw something upside down. And I know from first experience just how much it sucks because you are just having all kinds of fun little steaming hot pieces of metal landing on everything. It's not fun. So here's what we got. We got gloves, first and foremost. Keep the hands from getting cooked as best as possible. This is the key trick right here. This is an old welding helmet, like my dad's helmet from like the 70s or something like that. But it has a clear lens. So we're gonna rock this guy. All the shavings go right around my face because you gotta be under the hole saw to make sure you're cutting straight. So I can't just like step off to the side because then my hole will be like not where it needs to be. So you gotta be under it. And being under it means you're in it. And I am not in it to win it. Oh, that's horrible. Victory! I don't know if you can see it or not, but my shoulder is covered in, let me get the camera. Hold on, folks, I'm coming. All right, let me zoom back out a little bit here. Oh, that's the wrong way. So this hand covered in shavings, this arm covered in shavings, and the helmet has a ton of shavings on the inside. So the objective was met. Let me tell you what, this was the most prepared I've ever been. All of that would have just cooked my skin. But now we have a hole going through the boom. And the reason why I chose this section right here as opposed to this side is because this lower piece supports the entire head. So me putting a hole through here really isn't gonna affect anything because this guy is doing all the work. So there she be, hole all the way through the boom. And on this side, she looks pretty good. All right, so it's a whole nother day. It is currently 10 o'clock at night, but I have some goodies, all right? We have 3/8 chain. Came with some hooks. I don't need the hooks, but it was cheaper to buy a pre-cut, pre-made chain than to buy chain link by like $70 cheaper. So I went with this 3/8, 20 feet. I need 10 per side, and it's grade 70. So I think the weight rating for that is 6,600 pounds. So together, two of them, 13,000 pounds, this boom will be held up with. So technically speaking, if that chain breaks, my truck should be on its ass end and bad things are happening. So we should be fine with those. Yeah, so when I bought this chain, it was funny, the guy, I asked him if I could get, originally this wasn't in stock, so I asked him if I could get chain link for the price of this. This was $114, and chain link at this length would have been $178 or something like that. And so funny, the guy at the place was like, oh, well, the reason why the 20 foot is cheaper is because it comes fixed. You can't change it. You can't modify it. And I'm sitting there thinking, you don't know who you're talking to, partner. Because everything that I have, everything that I own is modified. I don't own anything that's stock. Ever. It's a crime. So, the other end of these come with these little hooks right here, right? And these hooks are great, but there's one problem with them. If you were to use this chain, so they have cotter pins right there. And when you're slinging chains around, you're not really thinking about it. You know, slide your hand up and that cotter pin will go right into your hand. So if you know how to weld, just weld your own chain links and completely avoid these because these things suck. And for this application, I don't really need them at all. So we are going to get rid of them because they serve no purpose. So all it is you have a cotter pin. Where am I at here? Yep. Oh, cotter pin already came out. Come here, cotter pin. We're gonna reset you because I didn't say to leave yet. You have a cotter pin that goes through, and the cotter pin comes out. Cotter pin comes out, and then the bolt comes out. And when the bolt comes out, you're left with a hook and a hook and a okay. Like I said, these are great. These guys are great if you can't weld. If you can weld, just weld your own links. And if you don't know how to weld your own links, I'll show you right now. Alrighty, so here are the steps. Here are the steps to welding your own chain links. If you're interested in this, listen to it. If not, skip like 2 minutes ahead. But so you're gonna start off with a link like this, and you always want to, like, this is a closed link, right? Nothing's on it, or nothing's cut. You always want to cut the weld. So on the top right here, you can see here's where it was welded originally when it was made. You want to cut that weld. If you cut on this side, you just cut a fresh side with no weld. So for example, let's see if I can do this here. Weld, no weld. So if I cut this, then I have 2 welds, 2 weak points. I don't just want to have one. So you cut the weld off, okay? And then you're left with something like this. So you have an open one, like an opening, and you have a little like spacer, right? So you take the spacer and you bevel it down to look like this. So, ow, that is hot. Hold on. Okay, we're back. Spacer, you bevel it down, that's super hot. So it looks like this So the edges of it are like rolled, you can kind of see. Whereas this guy, the edges are super sharp. So this gives you a little bit of like a bridge to fill when you TIG weld it. And this guy will go and fit right in here, kind of. It's gonna be a loose fit, but that's the point because you wanna weld it in. So then you would take your chain, and let's just say, for instance, this is a chain that I'm gonna use for something other than this application. You would put chain link in here. So you have chain going that way. And let's say you wanna use like a mini J. Slap that on here. Weld it shut. Now you have a 10-foot mini J. Or if you wanted to put a boxed end clevis, you could do that. Now you have clevis on here. In my situation, this one is going to be for the head of the boom, right? Yeah, you're for the head of the boom. Sure. And so I'm going to put a chain link on this because this part is going to bolt to the boom. 2 chain links are going to come out. So in my situation, it's going to be that, and we're going to weld in this guy. That's all it is. Chain link's in, so I just took the weld that I had, cut the weld in 2, and then re-welded it. And now we have 20 feet of chain again. Except this time, I can split it. Last time I couldn't split it. So I ended up cutting 1.25 inches out of the bolt, so it's now 6 3/4 of an inch long. But if you're curious on how you're supposed to reattach this so it's not cattywampus, I'm gonna show you right now. It's actually really easy. So you take this guy, and put it into a vise as best you can. And what this is gonna do is it's going to hold it true, like it's gonna be in plane. So it's gonna center the lineup. And then you take a C-clamp, and you go in and you clamp the bottom. This one's too big. What this looks like is the vise is holding this piece in line this way, and the C-clamp is holding it in plane this way. So what you end up with is a super in plane piece, and then I'll just tack it all around, and then you weld it. What you're left with here is basically this. So the bolt is perfectly in plane, and then the weld is nice and neat. So super, super nice. Very efficient way to do this. If you're using a MIG welder to weld bolts, well, you're doing it wrong. That is a TIG only operation. Same for chains. If you're going to be welding chains, chain links, that is a TIG only operation. Do not do that with a MIG, because you can't get that weld into the bevel and really like work it in. You're just going to be hitting the surface layer, and that's not ideal. You guys are probably thinking, is this the right way to do this? And to be honest with you, I don't know. But I feel like having a chain bolted down is stronger than having it welded. And I can also weld it, but at least it will have a forceful resistance. I don't know. This is what my brain thought was best. Am I right? Don't know. Am I wrong? Probably. Do I care? No. All it has to do is work. If it works, I will be happy. I don't care. So you guys are probably wondering, is this gonna work? The answer is yes. Is it the best option? That answer is I don't know. I don't know if it's the best option, but I can tell you one thing. This method works for Mr. Rory out there in Moab on Trail Mater. So if it works for him, it'll probably work for me. I don't think that he has, I'm not entirely sure how he has his chains. I don't think that they're bolted. I think that they're welded on, which could be the deciding factor. This is not working though, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think his are welded to the headache rack. I don't think his are bolted. I could be wrong though. But I can tell you one thing. If bolting them doesn't work, I can always weld them. It's not like I ran that option out at all, so I'm not really screwed in that regard. So I ain't really worried about it. That seems about right. Oh, my socket's still on there. I'll be darned. Got it. Alrighty, so I got the chains on. I got the holes drilled, welded, just like I did the tip. We have a strange issue though. I didn't think this was gonna happen. And then like, it just kinda keeps on rocking. Cause the weight of the chain is pulling down. Now granted, you put weight on it, it does tighten. Okay, so I came up with some like temporary winch line for the moment to kind of just see what the boom would look like under tension, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. Take a look. So we have ratchet straps going from tip of boom to these shackles. First of all, we're clearing the boom completely. If you remember in step one or in part one of the boom, we were gonna rub here. So that's nice, that's reassuring. That is completely not a factor anymore. Secondary, looks really nice. Looks very tow truck like. Good morning, it is another day, and of course we're working on the greatest off-road wrecker known to mankind. Don't forget it, okay? I tapped into my inner David Freiberger and I came up with this right here. So we have a checklist now. We have gotten to the point in the build where a checklist might fit on a 4x3 inch piece of cardboard. So we're getting close, we're getting down to the wire. There's still a lot of big things in here, like for example, interior. Bench seats gotta go, bucket seats, center console, roof rack's gonna be a big one. That's gonna be a big one. So there's some big stuff and there's some little itty bitty things that I keep forgetting on. So it's all on this list here, and we're gonna I'll keep on adding to the list, and we'll also keep on crossing stuff off the list, make you kind of feel good a little bit. So we've got a small design flaw, okay? The boom, you can't see it, but the boom is up as high up as it will go right now. It's being held up by a jack stand. It will not go any higher up. The winches are hitting the frame. The point of the clevis was to wrap the chain around it when it was up to hold it up. Here's the problem. Pulling the boom up even higher right now. It's never gonna go around the clevis. I don't know if you can see it or not, but so that's all the way up, and there's just no physical way. There's no physical way of this chain getting into that clevis. So the clevises are just for looks at this point because they're useless. Remember when I said, it's all in my head, and sometimes it doesn't work out? That's sometimes. So I'm gonna stop playing with the chains because I'm just making things worse, but I do have some things knocked off the list here. That one we already saw. Fluff and buff the bench, got that done, and then shorten the chains. We also added LEDs everywhere, 4 fire extinguishers, mount 2 shovels, high lift jack, and remove Chevy logo. That's a big one. This is not a Chevy, it's a GMC. And before you guys start going crazy in the comments about, oh, it's the same thing. No, it's not. A Chevy is a poor man's GMC, and a GMC is a poor man's Cadillac. They are all the same thing, they are all different. Not a Chevy, GMC. So we're gonna get that fixed. And the next one below that is custom front grille. So in the event that I can't find a GMC logo to fit where the Chevy logo is at, then I will take the whole grill out, we'll make a whole custom grill, and it will say GMC. So this entire time, these last 3 months, this drain pan has been leaking profusely. And I'm getting a little over it. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna drain the fluid in it for the moment, because it really ain't hurting no one sitting here. Actually, I should say it's not hurting it with it being in here, but I am getting a little over my transmission just dumping its guts out all over my floor. I wiped down everything under here this morning, and then
wanted to see where it was coming from. Was it something specific? Was there a crack in the pan? Like what was happening? And it turns out it's just coming from the seal, just the transmission seal. We're going for not even minimal, 0 spillage on this one, folks. 0 spillage. But I have towels here just in case. I think I'm leaking on your guys' side. Oh my God, the garage door closed. So much is happening right now. I don't know if you guys can see me anymore. Let me open this back up, hold on. I'm thinking I'm not doing so well with the non-spillage. Is it spilling on your guys' side? I can't see, but it's running down the drive shaft. The K20 does its own fluid changes. Oh, I'm super leaking on your side. Why didn't you guys say something? Golly. So you gotta keep in mind, all this fluid is sitting above the seal line. So I really hope this this bucket holds enough. The camera died during the process of that, so even the camera was over it. But fluid, completely out. I even jacked up the truck in the rear, picked it up to allow as much fluid to get out of the transmission as possible, so it stops leaking, hopefully. It's good to know that the only reason why the transmission's leaking is because the gasket's bad, because that's the reason why I got this truck for such a good deal, because the guy couldn't figure out why the transmission was leaking, or he didn't want to figure it out, I don't know, but it's kind of nice to know it's just the he thought it was coming out of the dipstick tube. No, just the trans pan. It was loose, and then of course to further that, the gasket's bad, so. All right, so in regards to the interior and even the engine bay, I've done 0 work. Like I haven't even touched them, like not even nothing at all. So I'm gonna give you guys a little look at the interior before I start taking it apart, and which I think I've already done, and then we're gonna pull the seat out and start getting some of this heat shielding out of here, because there's a lot of it and I don't need any of it. So let's take a look right about now. So this truck came with a bench seat as a door handle. This truck came with a bench seat in it, which is honestly super clean. Like such a nice seat, but I don't need it. I need to have space here. I need to have one seat and nothing in the middle. So we're gonna pull this guy out right about now. This little girl is kind of heavy. Not gonna lie. I'm actually kind of surprised. Currently, you can't see it, but the high-low shift knob has taken a liking to the seat. There she is. Oh no! Oh! You guys didn't see that. Well, I've hit an issue here. The seat is half-ass out, but the seatbelt has been cut, folks. Oh, I guess we're going out. Oh. Alright, I guess that works. And this seat is brand new. Not the most glorious thing, but I got it out. I was 1000% gonna sell this seat, because I don't really need it, right? It's just sitting there. It's sit and get it. But take a look at this thing. This seat is in such good condition. And like, she's comfy. This thing is not bad at all. The middle's good. The sides are good. This side's good. You can lay on it. Like, this thing is not bad. I think we're fixing to make ourselves a bench out of a bench seat. All right, it's currently 1:21 a.m., but check this out. All the sound deadening is gone. All of it. Or not sound deadening, heat shielding. Both sides. Completely cleaned up. I would like to, I'm still gonna sand in there and fluff and buff. And I'm also gonna paint the entire inside. And we're gonna go with the green that's already on the truck. But to tell you what, this little guy, wrong one. This little guy right here put in work. This little razor blade touched every section of heat shielding that you saw in the last clip. And to say the least, my back is expired. So I'm gonna go to bed, but making progress.